Hi, I'm Trey. I'm a sales engineer on the QlikMaps product team. I talk to a lot of people in a day, and one question comes up regularly. How many points or shapes can I put on a map? Well, the truth is, that question can be a bit difficult to answer. It's difficult because it depends on a lot of different variables. Now, we can always discuss all those variables and come up with a good solid answer, but I'd rather just let you in on a little secret. How many points is the wrong question. Look at the map. When I ask people to identify the location with the highest density of points, they often point out here or here, when in truth it's neither. A heat map shows the density of points is actually here. How did they miss it? Well, if we look at the two images side by side, we notice that the area with the highest density of points is so dense that the points sit on top of each other. The two places you actually thought were most dense are actually less dense, and therefore you're able to see the distinct points. Now, this map is only 3,700 points. Look what happens when we blow this up to 480,000 points. 480,000 points just makes a mess. There's no way to determine anything about the map. So, as you can see, simply throwing data on a map does not answer a geospatial question. Instead, we have to share the data in a way that tells a story. And in this video, we're going to discuss 3 different ways to tell a better story. We've already looked at the heat map in a previous, so that's one way. But let's look at a different possibility. Let's assume for now that our question is, where are the highest density of points? In this application, points actually represent bridges found in the US. And later we'll see we also have information on the quality of those bridges. The map that shows 480,000 bridges on a map makes it difficult to tell where one bridge ends and another begins. This is because at certain zoom levels, the bridges are so close in proximity that markers overlay each other. What if we were to leverage that proximity? Instead of showing a point for every bridge, show a single point for 2 or 3 bridges that were near each other, or in proximity. Points that show 2 bridges would be one color, and points that represented 4 bridges would be another, and so on. This would reduce the number of points on a map, while still conveying that there were multiple bridges under that point. Point approximation does just that. It rounds the location coordinates of all bridges, and if a rounded location is the same, it acts as one point. We then color code that point based on the number of bridges rounded into that location. This creates a map that is much easier to read, while also allowing us to quickly identify the high density locations. Another technique is to use geographical locations as a way to aggregate points. However, issues arise when the size of shapes vary over a large area. You'll notice here that we're showing 24,522 zip codes that represent the 480,000 points or bridges. Now that is a vast reduction in the number of features on a map that will result in better performance. However, the smaller areas are lost. If you want to aggregate points using geographical boundaries, we need to pay attention to the varying size of the geographical areas we are showing over a visible data set. If the areas are too small, you can't make them out in the larger data sets, similar to what you see here in the Northeast. Furthermore, if you filter your selections as we did here, the geographies may be hard to make out against the base map. In this map, we attempted to select the top 10 densest geographical areas. The geographies selected are so small and so spread out that they are difficult to find even on a black background. In short, using geographical boundaries is an efficient way to reduce the number of features on a map. However, careful consideration must be given as to whether your data fits well into this method of feature reduction. If your polygons are of relatively equal size, this method works well and is quick to implement using the global boundary library available at QlikMaps.com/download. If the geographical areas are not of similar size, you may want to consider binning. Binning uses geographical boundaries of the exact same size to represent your data. This allows you to color code your map like a heat map and show density based on color of your choice. Since the polygons are all the same size, making the selections doesn't reduce the visibility of your data. The downside of binning is that it takes a bit of preparation. Traditional binning uses hexagons that currently must be created in an outside tool. Now, we've documented this process in QlikMaps on the knowledge base, and to be clear, this process is not difficult. It doesn't even require any extra cost. It's just an extra step. Now, if you're willing to use squares, as you see here, as your bin shapes instead of hexagons, the process is a bit simpler. On the Analytics 8 Insights blog, you can find a post called Wrap All Your Points in a Bin. It provides a script to build square bins in the QlikView load script. In my experience, binning has provided an excellent way to deal with a large number of points. It can be visually striking while still quickly drawing a user to important information. Then, using the QlikMaps drill-in feature, it ensures that you can still drill down to the distinct points, so no fidelity of the data is lost. I hope this video helps, and that you are now starting to replace the question, how many points, with how can I make my map tell the real story? Thanks. See you next time.